Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications. And now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA. It's been about 2 weeks since 17 officers and men of the Nigerian army were brutally murdered in Okwama village in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State. And the nation still remains in shock at the gruesome manner in which their lifeless bodies were dismembered. They had gone to Okwama community on a peace mission to resolve a communal dispute between Okwama community and Okoloba community in Bomadi local government area of Delta State. Unfortunately, the peacemakers never made it out alive. This incident, which is a rarity, has left in its wake many unanswered questions, which hopefully proper investigations will reveal in the coming days. In the following report, we trace the history of the communal dispute, the efforts made by the Delta State government to resolve the dispute, the position of the Nigerian army on the matter, its investigation so far, as well as the response of other Nigerians to this dastardly act. Okwama is an Urobo community in Ughelli South local government area, while Okoloba is an Ijaw-speaking community in Bomadi local government area, both of Delta State. Both communities are along the Focados River. Initially established as fishing settlements, Okwama and Okoloba over the years grew to become small towns. Constantly under the threat of erosion eating away their lands, the two communities are in constant dispute over ownership of every single land space. To reduce the effect of erosion on their lands, the communities prohibited the clearing of grass by the riverbank. The latest round of disagreement between both communities started on December 18, 2023, when two youths from Okwama community were reportedly seen cutting grass by the riverbank, and they were both detained by Okoloba community. In response, Okwama community captured and detained some Okoloba indigenes as well. However, after negotiations, both communities released the captives in their custody. After this incident, the fragile peace existing between both communities was already threatened, and what followed were attacks and counterattacks. It will be recalled that the first sign of a crisis between both communities happened in 2014, when an indigene from Okoloba who wanted to build a house reportedly invaded farmlands belonging to Okwama community with a bulldozer and destroyed their farm crops in the process. To resolve the matter, the Pere of AKUGHA main kingdom, His Royal Majesty Stanley Perediaga Luke Kalanama VIII, created a boundary for the two communities, which was initially accepted but now witnesses constant encroachment from both Okoloba and Okwama on each other's land. After several attacks and counterattacks by both communities and petitions from the communities, the Delta State government swung into action by inviting representatives of both communities to Asaba, the state capital, for resolution of the matter. On the 7th of February this year, representatives of Okwama and Okoloba, as well as security agencies and other stakeholders, were all in Asaba for a peace meeting. The executive arm of the Delta State government was represented by Governor Burewuri's Special Advisor on Peace Building and Conflict Resolution. The legislative arm was represented by honorable members representing both communities, as well as the chairman of both Ughelli South and Bomadi local government areas. During the deliberations, Chief Uzo cautioned both communities to eschew violence and ensure that their conduct is in conformity with the laws of the land.
You must live within the limits of law. You should not be doing things that will be escalating problem in the community.
Both honorable members representing the two communities in the Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Festus Utuama, Ughelli South constituency, and Honorable Oboro Preyo, Bomadi constituency, sued for peace amongst the warring communities.
Whatever happened, whether the ownership, ancestral, whatever, we should pay our brothers.
It is not strange that there is misunderstanding, but the ability to resolve it is what is paramount, and that is why we are here.
At the end of what turned out to be a very successful meeting, both communities signed a peace accord, midwifed by the state government. However, it appears that both communities did not adhere to the peace accord, as the Nigerian army was reportedly in Okwama for another round of peacemaking, exactly 5 weeks after the signing of the peace pact in Asaba. This time around, the peace initiative ended in a bloodbath. A lieutenant colonel, the commanding officer of the 181st Amphibious Battalion in Bomadi, as well as 2 majors, a captain, and 13 soldiers were gruesomely murdered. Tried as much as we did, inside the Niger Delta could not obtain any eyewitness account of what transpired. However, a report from Delta Broadcasting Service television station in Warri gave an eyewitness account of the ugly incident.
We now attack the military men in the river, because when they came, we are in the town hall, we entertained them, drink and money, we wish cola for them, so they were very happy when they see the entertainment. Then after that, when they say they want to take the community chairman and the secretary and some other leaders away, it is there they say they cannot be able to follow them. When the army changed mind suddenly and open fire right there in the community town hall, killed many of the youth, the women, and some other children.
Governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oburewori, who had made attempts to visit Okwama community but was restricted from going into the scene of the crime by the army, departed for Abuja, where he briefed President Tinubu on all he knew about the Okwama and Okoloba dispute and the killing of officers and men of the Nigerian army.
We both condemn the killing of the officers and the soldiers, because they are there on peace mission. What happened is not in line with what we are doing in Delta State. We had a meeting with the security heads. We've all agreed, all the security agencies are putting heads together, we're on the same page to fish out the real culprit. And they have assured that no innocent person will be victimized.
As the army investigation continues, they have shut down Okwama community, as well as preventing any entry and exit from the community. The investigation has also extended to Igbomoturu in southern Niger local government area of Bayelsa State, where they have also closed the community to the outside world.
They did not allow anybody to move, to go to our fishing ports, our fishing, and even to go to our farms to get crops to eat. So since from Sunday to now, we are under starvation.
We are short of food. We have been besieged, no going out, no coming in. Then the soldier man that shot the gun was shouting on us, say, no market, no fishing, no farming.
The General Officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, says the troops of the Nigerian Army will remain in the creeks of the Niger Delta until they conclude their investigations and recover the arms taken from its officers and men.
There is no amount of propaganda, arm twisting, blackmail, intimidation, false narrative, and what have you, that will distract us from staying on course to achieve our objectives.
Former editor of the Guardian newspaper and a Niger Delta patriot, Abrah Abodo, suggests that the entire episode might not be unconnected with crude oil activities in the region.
After a time, people just felt that no, the oil cannot be entirely be exploited to the benefit of the Nigerian state without adequate compensation for those they call the host communities. And so people have taken it upon themselves that, yes, this thing is with us here. And if you take it and we are not getting corresponding benefits, we should also take it ourselves. And these are the considerations, the sentiments that have created a new economy, a new sociology, the one we now talk illegal bunkering involving criminal elements or non-state actors, and everything is around the oil. So there is an angle that this is very well one of those transactions about oil business, oil transaction, and then the aggrieved party taking it out on the other party, which may have resulted in this kind of calamity.
In his own reaction on the matter, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, also confirms that the killing was perpetrated by someone who used the community dispute as a cover to eliminate the soldiers who have recently upgraded their fight against oil theft in the area.
I know him, the CEO himself, Lieutenant Colonel Ali, of recent, because we have emphasized we want the oil production of Nigeria to increase so that we'll be able to have enough foreign exchange and then things can really go down, because we all know the challenges we're going. And so he insisted that all illegal activities within the general area must stop. So he directed all his troops and they were stopping all this illegal bunkering, stopping all these things, and then these are the people benefiting from it. And so when this issue came, I think it came as an opportunity for them to also do away with him. And that's exactly what happened. We know who did it. We are following up on him, and it's just a matter of time. We're sure we're going to get him, because they took away again arms. We must get those arms back.
As the army proceeds with its investigations, there are unconfirmed reports of extrajudicial killings of indigents of Okwama and Igbomotoro communities. Abrah Abodo, while lamenting the over-militarization of the Niger Delta, says the army must open up the communities to allow for independent investigations of the matter.
If they know the culprit, and then they have zeroed everything down to either a quarter or a particular person, why the suffering in Okwama? Why take out a whole community? Why do all of that? I have always maintained that if the army is not made to play by the rules, this is just symptomatic of the issues we are talking about. Tomorrow, the same thing will happen. But up and above this is the feeling that what is happening because the people, the region involved, is helpless. We will expect some remediation. First, the army to pull out and maybe allow some other people to maintain peace in the community while people return to their normal lives. If that is not being done, and the army is saying this, then it does not show any sincerity or purpose.
As investigation continues, the governor of Delta State has warned all traditional rulers in the state against harboring any of the fleeing criminals in their kingdoms. In their response, the traditional rulers, through the chairman of the Delta State Traditional Rulers Council, himself a retired Army Major General, His Royal Majesty Felix Mujakpero, promised to cooperate with the Nigerian Army to fish out perpetrators of the heinous crime.
No Nigerian would like to see criminals, because we know the implication of shielding such people. It will bring disaster to our kingdom.
Residents of neighboring communities to Okwama and Okoloba, who have recently seen more than the usual military presence in the area, are all living in fear and apprehension. They say all they want now is peace.
Our own land now, we dey everyday fight. Make na settle these horrible people with some people, make na settle us, make we dey peace. Now, we don't marry each other, it's just have to marry them say marry each other. Why would they fight to kill like this? You know, good, make it government can't do the peace, make everybody dey peace.
As the nation awaits the unraveling of the truth behind the killing of its heroes, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Fey Fanor, at a recent event in Abuja, highlights the concerns of most Nigerians.
Under the Constitution, soldiers cannot go anywhere, whether on peace mission or war mission, without deployment by the president. Who deployed the troops? We must find out, so that it doesn't happen again. And I'm pleading with all of us that all those who have been arrested should be transferred to the police for proper investigation so that they can be charged. The army cannot charge them because they can't be taken to court-martial. They are civilian. They must be taken to regular court. The government must not allow, must stop the destruction of villages for the offenses of a few criminals under our law. There is no vicarious liability in criminality. You are asked to account for your own action. Furthermore, there is no collective punishment in our law or under international law to that extent. Let us not repeat what happened in Odi of what has taken place. Odi, Sakibiam, and Baramotu. The Federal High Court awarded 37 billion, 41 billion, and 100 billion as damages.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In the aftermath of a dastardly attack on soldiers of the Nigerian army that claimed the lives of 17 soldiers, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, says it will support the families of the fallen heroes who met their untimely deaths while in active service. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ubuku, who made this known during a condolence visit to the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army at Bori Camp, Port Harcourt, River State, said the Commission's support is an appreciation of the deceased soldiers' contribution to the relative peace enjoyed in the region.
To condole with the Army, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, paid a visit to the General Officer commanding the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army in Bori Camp, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. During the visit, the Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Oboko, appreciated the cordial relationship between the Commission and the military formation in the past, while regretting the action of the unscrupulous elements who carried out the merciless attack on the officers and men of the Nigerian Army.
They have paid the ultimate sacrifice. So the only thing we can do is also to appreciate the families, to let them understand that we love them.
Dr. Oboko also appealed to the Army to maintain professionalism in their quest to fish out the perpetrators of this condemnable act. The General Officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, in his response called on citizens who have any information on the whereabouts of the culprits to come forward.
Our mission is to get our weapons that have been carted away by these criminals back and to arrest all those that took part in the gruesome murder of our officers and soldiers.
In another development, the new flag officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, Rear Admiral Said Akiwande, paid a courtesy visit to the corporate headquarters of the Intervention Agency in Port Harcourt on the assumption of office as the 41st Commanding Officer. He assured the Commission of his commitment to sustain the long-standing relationship between the two entities as the Navy continues to protect the maritime environment of the country, which will, in turn, promote the socio-economic well-being of the Niger Delta people.
And also to reinforce that collaborative engagement, that cooperation that has been developed between the Nigerian Navy and the Commission. Again, to also reassure you, sir, that we remain committed to that support.
Dr. Oboko appreciated the support of the Nigerian Navy in maintaining relative peace in the region, which is making it possible for the Commission to deliver on its mandates, while also playing its part in ensuring sustainable peace and progress in the region.
Inside the Niger Delta. Azikiel Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikiel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
Some keen observers of the development trends in the Niger Delta region are urging the newly appointed administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Dr. Dennis Otuaro, to revitalize the program and refocus its efforts on fulfilling its core mandate of offering sustainable livelihood alternatives to the youth population in the region. This follows Dr. Otuaro's recent appointment by President Bola Tinubu to lead a crucial intervention outfit conceived to put paid to the lingering insecurity issues in the region.
The Niger Delta region has been a focal point for developmental concerns since the advent of crude oil exploration in the mid-1950s. Ironically, the treasure belt of the nation is home to widespread poverty, deprivation and large-scale environmental degradation that have dislocated the people from their predominant means of livelihood, with little effort by government and major players in the sector to drive development and provide alternative livelihoods. The young population took to arms to drive home their discontent and make their demand known to the world. In June 2009, after a series of consultations and engagement with a broad spectrum of actors and stakeholders, former President Musa of blessed memory brought into life the Presidential Amnesty Program, hinged on disarming, demobilizing and reintegrating militants who were involved in the armed struggle. About 15 years after its establishment and billions of the nation's funds invested, the Amnesty Program, which is supposed to empower ex-agitators to contribute meaningfully to the economy, leaves more to be desired. More worrisome is the fact that the federal government has continued to patronize the program, initially scheduled to roll up in 5 years, not because it has a clear plan and intention to either empower the persons involved or provide lasting solutions to the security issues plaguing the region, but as a collateral for continuing crude oil exploitation activities within the region while the root causes are allowed to fester in the background. President Muhammadu Buhari's statement during his 2021 budget presentation spoke volumes about the government's lack of political stamina to address the underlying security challenges in the region and his resolve to rather take the easy and cheap alternative of just throwing money at the problem that leaves the region sitting on a cake of gunpowder.
To maintain the peace in the Niger Delta region, for economic and social activities to thrive, the provision of 65 billion naira for the Presidential Amnesty Program has been retained in the 2021 budget.
An environmental rights activist in the region who scores the program low emphasizes the need for the new administrator, Dr. Dennis Otwaro, who was recently appointed by President Bola Tinubu to bring fresh energy and strategic direction to the program.
The man needs to redesign the program and see what they can do to really create livelihood programs that will engage people. At that level, it does not matter whether you were carrying gun or not. We should not count it on our finger. We should see it spread as many as possible within the Niger Delta communities. That this is what the Amnesty has done. They have transformed this person from a pipeline breaker to an employer of labor.
However, Comrade Eniwake Orogun and Comrade Legbosi Yamabana, both youth leaders from the region, warn that unless the program is structured differently, it will continue to serve as a drain on the federal government resources and be a self-enriching venture for a selected few.
The federal government, the Presidential Amnesty Program must begin to attend to people who have not taken arms against the state by ensuring that resources, opportunities are equitably distributed. Let's not have that notion that to benefit or to get government attention, you have to take arms against the state. And once that is formed, it is hard to dissuade the people from there.
Most importantly, the previous administrators of the Amnesty Program must be audited with immediate effect. If they are not audited, this particular man may also tend to go that way, thinking that it will be an uhuru for him at the end of his own administration.
While the presidential amnesty is still far from addressing the underlying causes of youth restiveness in the region, President Tinubu should, as a matter of urgency, beyond opening up a conversation on the plethora of issues in the Niger Delta, be sincere and committed to tackling insecurity, particularly to put paid to the silent bloodbath, hostility and economic sabotage in the oil-rich region.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Development, transformation,
the Treasury Single Account, the TSA, in terms of its practicability, you can see that it's not suitable for some organizations. The NDDC is one of such, because why? The NDDC is a special purpose vehicle. It is to drive accelerated development. So ECOPs of such nature should actually be eliminated from the structure. The leadership as it, right, with this type of structure will not be able to do anything. You can make Angel Gabriel to be the chairman of NDDC in this present state. He will not achieve anything, because the structure poses a major limitation. Now the TSA, by implication, prohibits the NDDC in getting some bank facilities. They cannot open certain accounts. They cannot do business with banks, and banks can only grant mega facilities when you are into businesses with them, and that alone is a serious setback. If it's about accountability, I think the National Assembly is currently, by law, having oversight functions, and if that is not enough, then I think the presidency itself can set up a small committee, monitoring committee, to ensure that monies allocated or budgeted allocated to the NCs are spent wisely and for the projects for which that monitoring can be done. Because as we speak, I know that the FCT ministry is exempted from the TSA. So whatever reason the presidency has in the exemption of the FCT, right, I don't think it's as cogent as doing same for the NDDC, which is so special. Such bureaucratic bottlenecks need not apply in certain situations.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles shown right now on your screens. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA, thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.